Hello and welcome back to another episode of Peanuts High Council's weekly Mando podcast series. So glad you could all join us today. I am with the wonderful and amazing Caitlin.
Hello.
The wonderful Steph.
Hiya.
And our very own birthday boy, Jordan.
Hello there.
We really wish Backpack was here today, but due to scheduling differences, he's unable to make it. But he is here in spirit, and we love him. But before we begin, we just want to thank everyone again for coming to our watch parties. Specifically this week's episode, the support in general has been so encouraging. So thank you from all of us. Like always, everyone always has a great time. But today we will be breaking down everything that happened in chapter 15 of The Mandalorian. So here is your official spoiler warning. If you have not seen the episode yet, do not proceed any further. So, a few mixed reactions from everyone, but overall another solid week for the series. But enough from me. How is everyone feeling about this episode?
I really liked it.
Me too.
I thought it was really good.
It was great, wasn't it?
I thought it was good.
Decent.
Good. Yeah, definitely not as intense as maybe the one with Bo-Katan or Ahsoka, but a nice balance.
Yeah, I don't think it was more intense than the Ahsoka one. I don't quite know the Ahsoka one.
Well, you thought it was more intense.
Yeah, I thought it was far more intense than the Ahsoka one, personally.
I just thought it was like almost like a half and half. Like half it was a bit of planning and talking, and then it was the action thing. Whereas the Ahsoka one just started out, in the midst of action.
Yeah, but I feel like that's part of the reason that I think that, because of the fact that we're already, it's 2 minutes in and we're already talking about a different episode. Like the Ahsoka one, the Ahsoka one is action for how long's the episode? 50 minutes.
Around that time stamp. Yeah.
So it's about 50 minutes of action non-stop. I personally wouldn't say so either. I think there's quite a few moments that feel like a slog in that episode. But even then, with this episode being, like you said, half and half, if anything, that makes it more intense because there's more action that's crammed into the second half of it, which means there's a lot more that they're trying to accomplish in a lot less time. So yeah, that's mainly my sort of reasoning for why I think that this episode's probably one of the more intense ones of the season. Definitely more than the Ahsoka one, at least. I'd say the Bo-Katan one is probably slightly more.
There's definitely a build-up of intensity.
Yeah, the past two episodes have been so good compared to... I didn't really enjoy the Ahsoka one as much, but that's probably because I haven't seen the Clone Wars. But but the last two have been really good for me. Like, I've been on the edge of my seat for both and watched both 3 times now. So
yeah, they've been really consistent.
Yeah, they felt like the others kind of felt like you could tell they were different directors, but these ones kind of feel like they're coming to the conclusion.
Yeah, no, definitely. But we were quickly introduced to Mayfield again, who we saw a lot of in season 1 in that one specific episode. And there was a lot of depth for a background character.
There were quite a lot of people hyping up Mayfield on Twitter and on Discord. Like Kevin, who said he was like one of his top 5 characters in Mandalorian. And I feel like it kind of gives him a decent sort of background because obviously last season we saw him helping to do a job to break someone out or something. I think it was a Twi'lek or something out. And then he obviously got banged up. So it's kind of nice to see what happened after his encounter with Mando, and then to see what happens to him after his second encounter as well.
Yeah, no, agreed, because I feel like I enjoyed him more this time round compared to first. I just don't think he's a character that's good with first impressions, but he really came around, like a lot of characters this season. But
it was a bit slippery last season, I felt. Like you couldn't really trust him. And it was kind of nice to see him in this episode. Like you do see sort of points where the character's like, oh, I can't do this. But he still kind of commits to it because he could easily just say point blank, no, I'm not helping you. But he actually does want to help him.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because I thought he was quite intense. When we first met him, he was definitely one of those baddies, but he had some sort of a moral side to him this episode. You could see, we'll move on to it later, but it was kind of all building up to the point where he would literally just, shoot down the Empire and go his own way. But, we saw again Boba Fett, cleaner armor, sharper, new paint job. What are we thinking about Boba Fett and his relationship with everybody else?
I want to see that scene where he sits in the cockpit of the slave one with a paintbrush going over that helmet, being really intricate because he knows that this bit in front of the visor is a different color. So he's got to be really careful. He's got to get in all the wee like nitpicky bits.
Yeah, I know somebody was saying that.
That was me.
Was it you? No, somebody was also saying that for cosplays it's an absolute nightmare because now they have to get like a whole new helmet.
That was probably Deck.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was Deck. But yeah, another great location. We've been treated to such a variety of planets, different environments, and it's given the galaxy so much depth. What did you guys think about this specific planet?
Very green.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. Nothing special, not gonna lie.
Moving on.
Oh, so we're just getting through it today, aren't we?
Oh god.
But obviously the main focus was Mando, and not only that, I mean, his partnership with Mayfield was quite incredible to see. A lot of people really liked it. It was. What are your thoughts on that? The whole mission.
I like how Mayfield stepped up to help Mando when he'd taken off his helmet. He could see he was struggling and he wasn't going to go in at all, and he steps up to help him. I don't know, I thought that was really good. And I feel like the comedy of them two together adds to, it makes him really likable because you see the way Din interacts with him. I don't know, I thought it was really good.
I just think that Bill Burr is very good as this character. I feel like he is what this character needs to be. Because obviously him and Mando, they're very different in a lot of senses. So obviously he's cracking jokes or sort of comedic moments left, right, and center, a bit like myself, I might add. And I just think that they contrast, but because of that, they're a good pairing. Because you touched upon there, he wasn't gonna help. If this was season 1, Mayfield, he wouldn't have helped. But something's changed. Maybe the time in prison's done something to him. I know that if I was on that planet doing what he was doing, I'd be a bit more open to helping people. But yeah, I do think that the partnership that they have is an interesting one. I kind of want to see more of it.
Yeah, same. I don't know. I thought their dynamic was really good, especially towards the end when they were helping one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've seen a lot of these pairings in season 2. Season 2 is quite packed with things like guests and, more people coming along to help Mando. And I feel like that's also a reflection of Mando's character and how much he's grown, because I feel like he wouldn't do this. The old Mando wouldn't take people on or even take his helmet off and break tradition for that matter, But you can see that he's grown to care for Grogu, and he will do anything to get him back. And if that means breaking the rules and everything that he believed in, so be it. And it just really shows the audience, that he's growing as a person. It's similar to his droid thing. He never really liked droids. Then he encountered one that he could really trust, and now it's different.
Yeah, I agree, because when you compare Din this season to last season he was much more independent. He didn't really rely on anyone else for help, whereas this season he's relying on a lot of people and working together and is very dependent, which is quite opposite to the way he was, and it just kind of shows how his character is growing. And also, I can't remember what episode it was, I think it was a few episodes back, how they leave the child with with a droid, which shows how much his mentality has changed since last season, where he wouldn't trust the IG unit and was convinced that it was going to kill the child.
Yeah, I feel like that shows his desperation to just do what's best for Grogu. You know, like in the episode with Bo-Katan, he realizes he can't do it by himself anymore, and you see him opening up a lot more because that's what's best for Grogu, and that's what he wants this season. Rather than to get his bounty, now it's what can I do to do the best for Grogu? You know, traveling all the way to go see Ahsoka and everything, and now he just wants him back. So
his dad instincts have kicked in.
yes.
Well, the elephant in the room, which is Pedro Pascal, and the gorgeous human being he is. You know, we
Brown
see
eyes.
second time brown eyes. You know, how about that? Second time in Mando history, not Mandalorian history, but you know, in the show, we see him take his helmet off. Not the helmet, but a helmet in this case.
Yeah, I feel like in going over this episode, we've missed out a pretty important segment, which is that whole sort of on top of whatever the caterpillar truck. That whole segment we just sort of completely.
Yeah, well,
avoided.
I'm misorganized. I'm very unorganized.
I had like
like
one thing I was really wanting to say about that one, to be fair. So
yeah, and we can get to the action sequence now if you'd like.
I mean, if you had anything else you want to add there, then you can do that quickly. I don't mind. I mean, it's
brown eyes, very good looking. That's
yes, agreed.
I was going to say about with the mask, like you mentioned there, like last season, I think it was the very last episode, we see him have to take his mask off because if not, he dies. Well, he would have died, and the fact that he was so resistant to it last season, but when he knows that Grogu's life is in his hand, he'd happily take off his mask, which I feel like shows such how important the attachment is to Din. Jesus Christ, I'm stuttering.
Definitely. No, agreed completely.
Yeah, same.
Jordan, action sequence.
Hooray! The whole segment in itself, like that's some of the best action we've had in the Mandalorian. I mean, it felt very like we keep on making this comparison that let's be real, the Mandalorian is a space western, and that felt very sort of western movie on top of the train fighting. I mean, this is a really stupid comparison, but the first thing that came to mind was the opening of Toy Story 3, where they're all on the train.
Oh my god, yeah.
You're absolutely right.
See what I'm? Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like the whole thing with the pirates. It adds a lot of tension to it because let's be real, if that was just a straightforward journey, it would have been a pretty poor episode because it would have cut out a large chunk of it. But then you get the likes of like Den with nothing. Like we've got that blaster, it's just got the one shot, and he pulls it out the bag and he just destroys them all at nothing. Like he grabs the first guy comes at him with the club and he grabs that guy and just crushes him. And he crushes that guy with the club. And I just want to say I really want to be that guy.
I knew
it is. I saw it was coming.
As soon as I heard the word crush, I knew you were going to say that.
Oh god.
Originally I was going to bring up about how he crushed the performance, but then it wouldn't have been as good a payoff because I want to be that performance. I mean, who wouldn't? Because it was phenomenal.
No, you picked the right one, but you know he's definitely a survivor. And did you guys even count how many people he like took down on top of that?
About
14.
20, I reckon. Oh, Jesus, you were counting.
14, you counted?
No, it was a guess.
Somebody needs to check that. That actually might be quite accurate.
Could you imagine? No, actually, don't check it because if I've got it right, they're never living it down. I'm never going to hear the end of it.
Oh Lord. But yeah, so Mando, brown eyes, that whole interrogation. Well, it was like an unofficial interrogation. They were just going for a drink.
The officer felt very Tarkanish.
That's what I thought.
Can we normalize making that a descriptive word now? Tarkanish.
I mean, it was bloody brilliant though, seeing him get shot down.
Yeah,
you
knew from the way that scene was framed, the way that sort of Bill Burr's character was slowly getting more and more wild up, and just the face that he pulls moments before, you're just like to yourself, he's cracked, he's had enough. And I mean, good on him. That was I would have done the same.
I think that scene kind of gives a background behind Mayfield's character, because I think it kind of suggests that he was one of the stormtroopers that were left behind by his fleet. So I feel like that's probably why he acted out on
definitely.
it. Definitely,
It added much needed depth.
Definitely.
Oh, me, yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, again, so they eventually they have to leave, make some sort of escape, and you have Kara and Finnick, trying to help them, long range shots, and then you have Boba. It's a really nice dynamic, which is why I kind of wish he stayed with them. I don't know if that's everybody else, but they work really well, and I do hope we maybe see him again, whether it's season 3 or further on. But Mando's definitely making a few friends along the way, which he never usually did.
Yeah, he's not good at making friends, is he?
Kind of a loner, isn't he?
That's why I relate so heavily to him.
Oh, see, now I take the loner thing back. Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, I mean, like, for once, the Empire can actually shoot back properly. These stormtroopers were on point when it came to shooting those pirates. And then when they're trying to escape, all of a sudden it's like, whoop, aim is out of the window again. But yeah, I mean, they were the heroes today, weren't they? For once.
No, they're the bad guys.
Oh, okay. They're the bad guys. Cool. They were my heroes today. If I was in that truck and they were pirates, they are my heroes. In the grand scheme of things, not so much, but it's weird to see. I know a few people said it in the watch party, but seeing the Empire be, the good guys in that specific situation and just showing us that side of things, they're just doing their job at the end of the day. And yeah.
I think that was interesting because he was talking about how, all of his troops died and things like that. And you get to see like a human side of the Empire almost, like they're all proud of each other, patting each other on the back. Obviously, I'm not saying I love the Empire because that's a bit problematic. Please don't cancel me. But...
Confirmed, cancelled.
Same person that's got a secret thing for Snoke tells us she doesn't like the Empire. Okay.
No.
Don't tell me about Snoke, okay? Snoke is a good-looking young man.
Young man.
I'm gonna leave the call right now. I feel bad. I've just exposed the Snoke thing on the podcast.
So one thing which was missing in this episode, we usually see a lot of, is Grogu.
I was going to say the child is the first time we haven't seen him, because we see him in every episode. Because I think in season 1 we saw him on the very first episode, I believe.
Right at the end.
Right,
so it's the first time we've gone a whole episode without him, which kind of feels a bit foreign.
So Mayfield is now free. He's a free man. Supposedly died in that big explosion. Do you think yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks, the audience, Jordan. Everybody. Yeah. Do you think we'll see him pair up with Mando and the crew again?
No, because he's dead. Wink, wink.
I'll say it's a possibility.
How long until I get?
They might not just release him like that and then not possibly follow it up, because they have confirmed season 3 now. Due to
it's the way he was released, though. He was kind of looking back, not sure. He probably thought that
Cara didn't. Like a dog, if anything. Yeah. Like, why you let me go?
Does anyone find that does anyone else love the irony that they've left him there, like, to live on the planet of an Imperial base he willingly just destroyed?
That's what I was thinking. Like, I hope he didn't die in the next 12 minutes and they're gone.
Yeah, he just turns the corner and the stormtroopers just shoot him dead.
And he's taken to another planet.
That's what I thought they were going to do, though. It doesn't really make much sense to leave him on the base he just blew up, because there's bound to be survivors.
Exactly. Yeah. He allegedly died there, so why would you leave him on the same planet he's supposed to die on, or has died on?
That doesn't make any sense. You're absolutely
really
right.
It really doesn't. John Favreau, you're welcome to come onto the podcast to explain it. Pedro Pascal, you too. We've been asking you for a while now. Please.
We're
That's
desperate,
what I was
please.
waiting for. We're begging you. But yeah, just kind of rounding our thoughts up. That very last scene, arguably one of the more important scenes. Moff Gideon and Mando back in his Beskar. He
Yeah.
looked great as a hologram, and he looked intimidating.
Yeah, he was actually like the scary one this time.
I know. I was kind of intimidated.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
same.
I felt more intimidated by Mando's version of it than I did with Moff Gideon, and you all know how much I simp over Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Like
I
that
felt
was, I
it's
got
great.
chills when I was listening to that.
But I felt like Moff Gideon kind of liked it. He was up for a challenge. He
Oh,
did that little
Moff
smirk thing
Gideon
again.
is into this. Moff Gideon is 100% into this. Let's be real.
New ship.
Yeah.
We just did something.
Giddylorian.
Oh,
Giddylorian.
He's gone and done it.
Oh no. Definitely, you're all gonna get cancelled for that now.
Giddylorian.
Cancel me. I'll die on this hill.
Oh, but yeah, so predictions in a few words.
I have no idea.
Besides Giddylorian,
What for next episode?
or in general, just predictions
I feel
about
like-
life.
No.
I'm still going for heartbreak. We are not getting a Den and Grogu reunion. Moff Gideon's going to escape at the last minute, and it's going to be a cliffhanger. There, I said.
That's what I said.
What else are they going to do to make people think, holy shit, I'm definitely going to have to come back for season 3?
Yeah,
I just
That's what I
think
was
so.
thinking.
he's obviously going to go after the cruiser because he has the coordinates for it now. I just
Yeah.
feel like as used to have both said that it's most likely going to be a cliffhanger. What were you thinking was going to happen, Peanut? Prediction.
Oh, the tables have turned.
How the turntables.
I just
Yeah,
think it's either everything or nothing, in the sense that we get like a very end game style where everybody kind of comes back just to bring the child home, or we can just get this little group again, go head to head with Moff Gideon and his troops, and try and get him back. Maybe eventually they do, or they're so close to, and then something happens. Maybe we see Thrawn, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, anyone. The point is, there's high expectations, and the stakes are higher. And also, compared to season 1 finale, not to be electoral or anything like that, but it's different this time. Mando has a lot of advantages compared to what he had before. You could see in the season 1 finale, they were absolutely surrounded by Imperial troops, and Moff Gideon was this big, bad new villain. And now it's kind of like they're almost, well, not technically on level terms because he has a whole army, but they have Boba Fett.
I know.
We have Boba Fett.
all I'm gonna say is I remember tweeting out my prediction for what the ending of this season was gonna be, like the final scene. And so far, with the way they're ending the episodes, the past few episodes, it's looking like it's a possibility. Don't know if anyone remembers what I'd said about the Thrawn cliffhanger.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's a possibility.
Because when you think
could
about
be.
it, the past 2 episodes have both ended with a Moff Gideon scene and a revelation.
Didn't you also say
And when you
like a
think
Moff
about it,
Gideon?
Finale of season 1, Gideon brings something from animation into live action. He might do it again in season 2's finale.
It's literally it's out of the window at this point. But yeah, it looks like we are running out of time. Probably a good thing for the viewers because we are like
Talking
it's
out
a very
loud.
it's a
This has been
different
a
kind of
really weird
podcast.
episode.
I can go into tweets if you want.
Yeah, so okay. Moving on now to Caitlin's side of things, where we do our weekly tweet thingy. Caitlin.
Now, right, now's the moment you've all been waiting for. We asked
Caitlin's
you
tweet
on our
corner.
Twitter. Yeah, Caitlin's Corner. Woo! We
Whoop,
asked
whoop.
you on our Twitter for a 5-word summary of the episode with no spoilers. So from Deku Skywalker, we have Dinner's a good dad. How are we feeling about that?
He's a great dad,
I mean, he's lost his kid.
which is good. Oh,
Yeah,
that is true.
Well, true.
Loses a few points there.
Yes, I had to dig there.
From at Fantasy Pengu, we have This was so cool. So true. And from Ahsoka Wrong Jedi in all caps, we have absolutely loved it with a full stop on the end.
Absolutely
I
loved it with
agree.
a full stop.
Yeah, it must have been a really good one. I think it was.
Full stop counts as a character, what we're saying.
All true.
Agreed, but that's a debate for a different time.
There we are. That concludes Caitlin's corner.
I've
Thank
actually
you.
got Jordan's corner,
Ooh.
plot twist, because the tweet that I wanted to bring attention to. So our very own Peanut decided to quote tweet. Now, as we all know, the rules of this are summarize it in 5 words. Peanut put bloody hell, that was intense. But you might be thinking, Jordan, that is 5 words. Wrong, because she added the Mandalorian there as well, which takes it to 7. So, Peanut, you failed at your own bloody game.
You are cancelled from Caitlin's corner.
I can never come back.
Nope.
Wow. Thanks, guys. You guys just mean the world to me. You know that.
Can I see when I saw the tweet? I was gonna message Caitlin to say, like, look, please, I know this is just a waste of a tweet, but please put this in there. Like,
okay, enough hysterics. Enough. It looks like we need to now go to Steph.
Okay. As I announced last week's podcast, we're gonna promote 2 new Jedi this week. These 2 are probably one of the most active members, or 2 of the most, I should say, active members in the Discord server, and their support never goes unnoticed. So for this week's episode, we are promoting both Kiwi and Alyssa to the rank of Jedi. Congratulations to you both.
Whoop, whoop. Amazing.
Let's go.
Unfortunately, next week will be our last Mandalorian episode, but one more member in the Discord server will be granted the rank of Jedi. So I guess you'll have to tune in next week to find out who this may be.
Last but not the least, remember. And I'm pretty sure everybody else has noticed alongside us, but a special someone has hit 2K followers on Twitter, and that is our very own Backpack. Whoop, whoop.
Let's go.
Congrats. Let's go. We love to see it. Congrats to him. He's amazing. And again, we really wish he was here. Hopefully he joins us next week. But yeah, congrats. Hand it over to Jordan. That is enough from me and everybody else. Jordan, take it from here. Just take us home.
Yes, thank you so much, Peanut, for passing it on to me. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, because I get to talk on my own for a couple of seconds. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode of the Peanuts High Council Weekly Mandalorian podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on Twitter and get interacting so that you never miss an event. We also have a Discord where we talk all things Star Wars, so if you weren't aware of that and it's something that interests you, feel free to head on over. We've actually got an event coming real soon, a special watch party coming up to celebrate the Rise of Skywalker's 1-year anniversary. I guess you could call it a Rise of Skywatcher. That will be taking place on Saturday the 19th of December in our Discord, so that's just another reason to join. We hope to see as many of you as possible. It's going to be a fantastic time, and you're not going to want to miss out on it. If you're wanting more from the council, we've sorted the previous podcast episodes into a playlist so you can go back and rehear our season 2 experience from the very beginning. Obviously, we've missed a few episodes since then, but, you know, we don't need to get into that. Be sure to get in the comments of this podcast and let us know your thoughts on Chapter 15. Feel free to subscribe so that you never miss an upload and hit the like button, and it doesn't go unnoticed, trust me. That's everything from me, Peanut, Steph, and Caitlin, and you're going to be hearing from us all again next week. Au revoir.